Hi, I'm Sheree from Wheatbelt Beads. Now I've got a lot of friends who want to try beaded jewellery making, but they're a little bit overwhelmed by what they see is a huge number of tools that you need and a number of skills that you need. But there are actually only 3 tools that you need, and I'll show you all of those today. And there are, believe it or not, only 4 skills you need, and they are crimping, cutting, forming loops and opening and closing loops, and I'll show you all of those today as well. So these are the 3 basic tools that you'll need for beaded jewellery making. These are called cutters or side cutters, so they can help you cut most types of wire. These are called round nose pliers because they're obviously round. They're very thin at the tip and they get thicker towards the base. And these are called chain nose pliers, and they're flat here and they're round outside. So they're the 3 basic tools. In some of these demonstrations you may find or notice that I'm actually using a different, instead of these, I'll be using these. It's personal preference, I find them easier, I like the bent tip, okay? So they're called bent nose pliers. So the first skill you need for jewellery making is cutting, and I'm pretty sure you will have already done this before. So we take the cutters or the side cutters and your wire or your chain. Now sometimes this won't, but if you're cutting stiffer wire or chain, sometimes bits go flying. So if you're not going to be wearing safety glasses, make sure that you hold both pieces with your hand and just cut. So you can cut that. You can also cut chain, so I've got some chain here. So again, this might go flying, and cut. So the second skill you'll need is crimping, and this is every bit as easy as cutting, I promise. For crimping, in most cases you'll need crimp beads. Now these are very, very tiny metallic beads, and they sort of act as stoppers. So we sell them in different sizes and different colours, and in this awesome little multi-pack as well. So you'll be using your chain nose pliers for this. So we'll take so they really are tiny little things. Alright, we'll try it this way. We'll take our wire and thread it through the crimp bead. There we go. Okay, and then you take your chain nose pliers and you squash it hard as you can. Okay, and then you take your bead and thread it onto your wire, and that bead's not going anywhere. Can you see? Another time you might use it is when attaching clasps, for example. So we'll just loop that through, and rather than just holding one bead in place on the wire, you might need to secure a clasp like that. So we'll take that, and got another crimp bead there, but this time we're putting the crimp bead over both wires. Can you see? So we'll push that up nice and close to the end of the clasp like that, and squish it, squish it, squish it, and that's not going anywhere. Okay, now if this is a little bit ugly, you can cover it up with a crimp cover, and you'll use the same crimping action, so it's the same skill. So a crimp cover looks a little bit like a slater, if you ever played with those when you were a kid. So it's a curvy sort of thing with a little opening here, a little bit like Pac-Man maybe. So you put the crimp bead over the bead like that, hold it taut. This is a really fiddly little thing, it might take a little while to get it right, and then just crimp using the same tool, same technique, and instead of an ugly crimp bead you've got a little round bead there now, so it looks lovely. Another time when you might want to use that crimping action is, for example, if you are using suede, so we've got some fake suede here, or if you're using ribbon, for example, you might use some of these ends like this. So what happens then is you put the end of the ribbon or the suede or the cord or whatever it is in there, and then you'll crimp that shut, and both of those arms will cuddle around the fabric like that. Okay, and then you just trim this little bit off and you've got your loop there, and that's not going anywhere as well. You can use a little bit of glue to secure that as well if you want to. So the third skill you need to learn how to do is forming loops. Now, to demonstrate this, I'll take this eye pin. It's called an eye pin because it comes already formed with a little eye loop in one end. So we'll thread the bead on. Now what we want to do is we want to secure this bead by trimming this wire and forming another loop at the other end that's the same as this loop. So to get it the same size, we need about 1 centimetre. So I'll take my cutters, and so that's about 1 centimetre. Now remember, if you're not wearing safety glasses or there are other people around, make sure you're holding both ends of the wire when you cut, because this will go flying. And discard the piece that you cut off, and there's your pin with about 1 centimetre. It's a bit more than 1 centimetre. So now we take our round nose pliers, and this is really awkward. So hold as if you're shaking somebody's hand, and then twist it back towards the back of your hand, so it's really, really awkward. And then take hold of the end of the wire with somewhere near the end of the pliers. So you don't want it to be up here because that will form a really giant loop, but somewhere about there. Then rest it along the length of your finger and roll it in. Okay, so you'll see, I don't know if you can see on the camera, but you'll see this forms a kind of a loop, and we want it to form a nice little question mark shape. So we'll just put our pliers back in and just give that a little bit of a tilt so that it has that lovely sort of question mark kind of thing, and it's nice and straight. So that's how you form a loop. So the fourth skill we want to learn is opening and closing loops. Now I'll just demonstrate quickly on this loop that we've just created in step 3. But it's like, for example, you might want to connect a series of these together, or you might want to connect to earrings or a clasp or something like that. So you'll need to open and close these. Now there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. The wrong way is you might think you need to try and open it the way we closed it, if that makes sense. So what people think they need to do is open it back this way, like that. Now you can probably already see it's starting to lose its shape, and if you close it back, or if you try and close it back that way, I've just fluked it, but it's very difficult to get it back that way. But if you keep doing this and opening it like that, it will eventually snap. So you don't want to do it that way. What you want to do instead is open it, instead of this way, you want to open it back towards you. Okay, so you want to open it like that instead, and it's probably really difficult to see with that. So I'll just put that to the side and demonstrate with this jump ring here. Okay, so the way you'd open a jump ring is have your round nose pliers and your chain nose pliers, or 2 chain nose pliers if you have 2, and just open it like that. Okay, another handy little tool, which you don't have to have but can be really useful, is called a jump ring opener. Now a jump ring opener looks like this. They're very inexpensive, we sell them on the website. But you just wear them on your finger like that, and they've got slits of different sizes there. And what you do to use it is put the jump ring in, closed, open, close, and it's very easy, and it makes sure you do it correctly each time. Now I'm just going to show you, so we've got all the, pop that down, so I've got all the gear here to make a really nice pair of earrings. I'll just show you how quick and easy it is with just a couple of tools and, you know, just one of those skills that you've just learned. So we'll take a large leaf and we'll take a small leaf and we'll take a jump ring, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect the two leaves using the jump ring. So we'll open that up, thread the first leaf on, thread the second leaf on, and close that jump ring. So you can see you've got the two leaves there now. And we'll just open, we'll take an earring wire and we'll just open that the same way, the same direction, and close, and there's a lovely earring. And all you've had to know how to do is open and close a loop.